So if you are a subscriber to the Whole Views channel on YouTube, or if you follow my page on Facebook, I promise that I'm not going to be doing these type of videos on a regular basis unless things get progressively worse. But please indulge me while I go over my experiences with police brutality and my views on the most recent events. I'm not an expert on racial injustice or police brutality. To be quite honest, I've never truly experienced anything overly negative when in my encounters with police that I'll talk about later. But after seeing the most recent events, a knee on a man's neck for 9 minutes, I don't feel right making videos talking about Batman, talking about Justice League, talking about Netflix movies. This type of stuff is going on in the world that we live in, and I'm not saying nothing about it. The thing that I don't understand when I watch that video of the man being pinned on the ground, knee on his neck, not moving. The thing that I don't understand is that what is the next step? We got two officers involved. One pinning the man down, the other one crowd control. I understand that. You need somebody to keep the crowd off you. You got one guy subduing the subject. What is the next step? What is the overall goal? Did y'all want to pin him down, cuff him, and then put him in the car? Because if that was the goal, y'all could have did that. Then later I find out there was 4 officers on the scene. What the other 2 dudes was doing for 9 minutes. Even if they wasn't there the whole time for the 9 minutes. Why they didn't stop? Why they didn't stop the officer with a knee on the neck and put the subject in a car? Like, what are we doing? I don't understand it. I don't know police protocol, but I know that don't make no sense. I don't believe that's in any handbooks or manuals. I did my YouTube channel because I feel like I could talk about movies from a different perspective. I'm black. I'm a Christian. My mindset is mostly conservative. I'm from the South. I don't live in Los Angeles. I don't live in, one of the bigger cities. I figured this mindset can help me talk about things from a different perspective. Well, again, being black, being Christian, I still feel like I can approach this incident with the man's life being taken. I feel like I can approach that from a different perspective as well, because my experiences with police here in Southwest Louisiana have been totally different from that. And I have some reasons as to why, but let's talk about it. First time I ever got the police called on me, I was in college. This is back when I had braids. I was wearing a do-rag. I was wearing a black shirt, blue jean shorts. I used to have a Beretta PX4 40 cal. Always had it on me. Always would take it from my side and put it in the glove box. This was a regular routine for me. Well, I guess one day when I'm out getting an oil change, I'm going to the auto parts store. I'm putting my pistol in the glove box. I get down and I go in. This is back in the flip phone days. I'm talking on my phone as I come out. 2 officers actually it's 4, but 2 different squad cars pull up on me, block me in. Tell my friend, like, yo, man, I'm gonna have to hit you back. The police is here in force. Look at the cops. I'm like, what's going on? The police tell me, hey, do you have a gun on you? Because they see bags in my hand. They're not crazy. I said, yeah, I got a gun in the car. Hand goes to the hip. Hand on the weapon. And they say, can you get it for us? I was like, well, everything is unlocked. Y'all can get it. I said, what's going on? They say, just put your hands on your vehicle right here while we get the gun. I say, I put my hands on the vehicle. I say, what's up, man? What's going on? Police say, hey, well, we got a call about a man, black man, matching your description. Your height, weight, build, same clothes. Said there was, they saw you going in the store with a gun. I said, maybe they saw me putting the gun up because I keep it on my side, but I don't go in the store with a gun. I don't have a carry permit. They say, okay, well, you know what's going on. You understand things. I say, yeah, I understand. I say, but it's in the glove box. They got it. They ran the serial number. They say, we don't have a database to say who owns it, but we do have a database to say if we put in a serial number, will it show up stolen? This one is not stolen, so you're free to go. I say, yeah, I know it's not stolen. I got it from Lafayette Shooters. I don't have the receipt, but I know it's not stolen. They gave me my gun back. They said, go ahead on and carry on about your day. And I was fine. Another incident, me and my wife, at this point, this is years later. I'm on the way back home. Had a Glock pistol on me. Police say I rolled through a stop sign or a red light or something. I didn't get a ticket, but I rolled through a stop sign supposedly. Get pulled over. Officer walks up, says, hey, you rolled through a stop sign. Did you notice that? I say, nah, I thought I came to a complete stop. He said, well, I'm going to need your license and registration. Gave it to him. He said, do you have any illegal drugs or firearms in the vehicle? I say, no, it's not illegal, but I do have a gun right here on my side. Hand went to the hip. He said, can you get it? I say, well, the door's unlocked. You can get it. You can. He said, no, you can get it. Give it to me. Is it loaded, is what he asked me. Is it loaded? I say, well, I don't have a round in the chamber. Hands on the wheel. Don't have a round in the chamber, but it do have bullets in the magazine. He said, okay, pick it up slowly and give it to me. Reached like this, came up like this. He took the gun, dropped the mag, cocked it back. He said, give me 1 second. Walked away with my license, my registration, and my pistol. Came back, gave me my gun back. He said, luckily I got another call, but in the future, please be careful when you're approaching these stop signs. Y'all have a nice night. We went home. Both of those instances, things went fine. This is over the course of probably last 15 years. This has happened to me 2 times. Never had a bad experience. I think about where we live. Like, we in Southwest Louisiana. I'm in Southwest Louisiana. I'm a history teacher. Been a teacher of 12 years. Black-white relationships have always been better in Southwest Louisiana than other parts of the South. True story. The Department of Justice was sent to a school that I teach at to investigate desegregation orders because, you can't have a school that's 90% black and another school 90% white, like you in violation of segregation orders. So that was the situation in one of the parishes, school districts I taught in. In the Department of Justice, people from Baltimore came in and watched our students and watched the teachers interact, students and each other. And they was blown away. Like, y'all got blacks and white little couples at this school. It's like, well, yeah. And y'all black and white teachers, you just get along and buddy. It's like, we work next to each other every day. Like, what you expect? I guess they expected things to be worse. I don't know. But I think that the history of our people down here where I'm at has something to do with that. And I'm saying that, but in the same breath, I look a few summers ago, we had the Alton Sterling shooting. I know he wasn't reaching for no gun. I know I saw that video several times. He wasn't reaching for no gun. They had the man pinned on the ground with a pistol in his face. I don't feel like he should have lost his life. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. People would say, well, Alton Sterling was a bad guy. Like, he had a record. They would say, oh, he did have a gun on him. They would look at Ahmaud Arbery and they would say, oh, he trespassed. He went to somebody's house that was under construction and was snooping around. But what about the good guys? What about people like Philando Castile, who is a licensed gun carrier?
I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
He notified the officer, hey, I do have a firearm on me. And he still got killed. Nobody went to jail for that. Nobody served any time for that. Like, where is the justice for Philando Castile's family? Like, why is it that officer became so nervous when he heard Philando Castile say, I do have a firearm on me? The officer instantly went to, oh, don't pull it out, don't pull it out. And you could see Philando Castile say, I'm not pulling it out. I'm not pulling it out. I didn't pull it. I'm not pulling it. And a man lost his life. When we look at the victim shaming that occurs to African American men that are the victims of police brutality, the common thing is people say, well, let's not rush to judgment. Let's not make it about race. Let's wait and get all the facts. Now, while all that is happening and you have fact collecting and trying to look into what really happened and all that stuff is going on, the media, whether it's conservative or liberal, is trying to assassinate a person's character. Because if they did it to me, a teacher, school teacher for the last 12 years, a good father, a loyal and loving husband, born again believer, friend of black people and white people, you know what they would do to me? They would take this picture. They would take that picture and say, oh, look at this thug holding an AK-47. Or they would take this picture. Ain't had hair on my head in like 5 to 7 years. I don't know how long it's been that I've been bald now. Oh, but they're going to take that picture of me holding a rifle and say, oh, a gun that I don't even have no more. Like, oh, look at him. He's a bad guy. He's posing with a gun. Look at him with his little thuggish white t-shirts. And they wouldn't show me in a classroom. They wouldn't show me playing with my girls. They wouldn't show me interacting with my students. They would paint me in a negative light. And it's crazy because people look at this and they say, these events that happen, they say, oh, don't make it about race. Well, I got a racial story. A friend of mine, his name is Rocky. Rocky says at 25 years old, he was trying to fight some guys at a club. They told the officers on duty, told him, you jump this fence, we arresting you. Rocky said, man, as soon as they turn their head, I jump the fence. 3 officers tackled me. This is Rocky speaking. 3 officers tackled me. One of them put their knee on my neck, just like the guy in the video. He said, man, it took less than 10 seconds for me to realize I'm about to pass out because I can't breathe. So he gets out, like he squirms enough to get out. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm choking. They handcuff him and they stand him up. And the officer that had his knee on his neck apologized and said, man, we sorry. We wasn't trying to hurt you, but you was resisting arrest. And sometimes we got to do what we got to do. Rock said, I understand. And they put him in a car and arrested him. But why is Rocky alive today? It's not to say that George Floyd was a bad guy. It's not to say that Rocky was a bad guy at the time. It's not to say that every cop is racist. But I guess my final point in all this, and the most important point in all this, is that when these things happen, when you see the police kill a black person, it feels like a reminder that even though I'm Christian, even though that my political views is more conservative than they are liberal, even though I've been a school teacher and an upstanding citizen for the last 12 years, not to say I've never done anything wrong, but for the last 12 years, school teacher and upstanding citizen, good husband, good father. One day, I could run into the wrong cop on the wrong day, and all that good stuff that I said about myself can go clean out the damn window. And I could be seen as a threat, and I could be taken out quick. Whereas if somebody looked like Rocky, who could be 10 times worse, who could have horrible intentions, who could just be a bad person in every way you think of, because he looked like Rocky. Person who would be the wrong cop on the wrong day for me would probably give a worse version of Rocky the benefit of a doubt and let him make it. But me, nah, he's 6 foot, he's 200 pounds, he look muscular, he look angry. Skip the taser, straight to the pistol. We not gonna fool around with him. He might do us something. And I don't want to co-sign the narrative that black people living in fear, like, oh, we scared to go jogging. Like, nah, man. I talked to one of my partners, like, no, me and him both went on runs today, and we routinely do in predominantly white neighborhoods or parks, public parks with lots of white people around. It's not like we running scared. Something that never really crossed our mind. But again, when these things happen, it's like, don't forget. That's how I feel. It feel like the world telling me, don't forget. Just as easy as you wake up and go to church on Sunday morning, you could also be out Saturday night and run across the wrong cop at the wrong time and not even make it home for a Sunday morning. The problem is that no other group of people have a constant reminder that they could be killed or that they could be brutalized. And not only would the person who murdered them, not really see any kind of justice. But we're going to take your worst mistakes. We're going to take your lowest moments. We're going to take your worst decisions, and we're going to put them on display and use that for justification for killing you. No other group has that. I guess that's all I have. It's sad that George Floyd is not alive, and it's sad that we gotta have these conversations.